Okay, I'm waiting for some parts to come in on the Husqvarna 136, the second one that was incomplete, saw number 2. After a while I was waiting, I'd take a look at this Poulan 2000. 2 cubic inches of pure muscle. Looks to be complete, all metal. It's got a crack right there. I'm not sure if you can see that. Take a look when I pull this cover off. This was rattling quite a bit, and when I pulled the fuel cap off, I found the fuel filter floating around inside. And so obviously the fuel line is broken, cracked. So I'm not sure how difficult of a job that'll be. But we'll see if we can take it apart somewhat and take a look at inside and see if it's worth fixing. Honestly, a Sol's only worth $50 in running condition, but we'll mess around with it a little bit. Maybe spend no more than 2 hours tops on it. Second screw over here for the side cover to come off. Again, this is not the Poulan Pro stuff that you get at Walmart nowadays. It's complete plastic. This is actually, like, besides the handle up top and the choke cover, seems to be pretty well made saw. No idea what vintage this is. If this is from the 80s or 90s. Okay. Little piece of the fuel line just broke off right there as I pulled that apart. So again, this cover has a crack in it. I'll show it right there. It feels like it's aluminum casting, so not a big deal. I don't think that'll affect the performance, quote unquote, performance of the saw. Alright, it's like the same sort of clutch setup as the Husqvarna 136. It's got a 16-inch bar. I'm sure it's the original bar and chain on this old saw. Okay, let's see where this fuel line is. Okay. It's pretty easy to get to fuel line. Tank's right here. So pull this. The fuel line is literally right here, and it's falling apart as we look at it. The hole's right there, so it should be pretty easy to feed into that. And then we'll take this plastic handle cover off. And looks like actually it only runs right there. It's a very short section. Okay, this might be an easy fix. And no rubber fuel lines back then were ever designed for ethanol, that's for sure. Ethanol is a killer of so many small engine parts, and it's the reason the carburetor, Chinese import carburetors are doing so well. It's just as cheap to replace the whole carburetor for small engines I'm talking about, not just this machine, but than it is to actually rebuild them. So they didn't make this a cheap saw. I mean, even the end of the fuel filter has a little spring clip on it to hold the hose on. The newer ones don't have that. See if we can find a piece of this diameter hose if we have one laying around, and we'll route that through. Okay, found some fuel line. Seems like the right diameter. Again, same trick as in the other saw. We'll cut this at an angle. This blade's getting dull. Hose seems like a little larger diameter on the outside. We'll see if we can get it in there. Well, this fuel tank's loose here. I don't think there's a way to get this out of here though without pulling the side cover off over here, which I do not want to do. Pause, I'll come back hopefully if I get this on. So you have it fed through. It's a good tight seal. Again, this has got a little spring clip on it. Compress that, pull off a bit of the old hose here. This fuel hose will cut it again. Square. Spring clip, put it over the hose a bit. Alright. Got flow through it. This hose is a slightly larger OD, so the spring clip is just a bit tight. But when you're fixing something, you want to fix it right, so. Okay. So now we don't need all this length, but I obviously want this to be sitting at the bottom of the gas tank. Okay, so I have this over in the bottom corner on this side. Sorry if the camera's not facing the right way there. So now I just have to route this hose right to here, cut it off, this length right here. Wow, there could not have been an easier saw, easier fuel line routing than this guy. Okay, it's routed, tucked in there nicely. Some more rattle in there, that's good. So, assuming the fuel line's still good getting up around there, this saw's not in bad shape. She might be a runner. Let's check out if we have any oil in here, which would be a good sign. If there's oil in the tank, that means it didn't all leak out. Pretty dry, but somebody else could have stored it dry, and we'll worry with that later. Right now, let's see if we can get it running. Just like this, and there's no safety brake. All there is a kickback handle, so it'll help stop the saw from rotating up, but does not lock the actual saw. Not sure what this hole is right here for. I don't think it's stock. You should take a look at the air filter, just make sure it's not completely disintegrated to where it's going to suck some dry foam into the carb. Some of these older units, they use foam type filters that after a while they get degraded. Or no air filter. How about that? I guess that's one way to do it. Oh, the air filter's over here. Okay, a little filter here is foam, but this is supposed to be sealed along here. Okay, well, with the choke, got to line up with this finger here at the choke. So it says choke on, so we'll put it like that. So when this goes down, it'll line up in that correct orientation. There we go. I'm impressed with this little saw so far, honestly. I'm more impressed if it fires up. If you have any guesses on how many pulls it'll take, if it'll start at all, put that in the comments section. Let's see. half a pint, 2 cycles. It doesn't call out if it's 50 to 1, 40 to 1, 20 to 1, so I have 50 to 1 mixed. That's my standard mix. We'll give it a go with that. I'll do a little more research to figure out what that actually amounts to. Don't think that, I think this cover off while it starts up. Okay, it's fueled up. This is a definitely vented gas cap here. Okay, choke will be on. This is the start stop button right here. I'm gonna head outside and give this a go. It's getting dark out here. Fuel's leaking out of here somewhere. It's a crack in the gas tank or something, but getting a little fuel leak. But choke on there. Okay, well I did a few things off camera the other day. My phone wasn't with me, the battery was dead. So this is the Poulan 2000. So I tried test running it, it wouldn't start. I think I found the problem for that, but I'll get into that in a second. But also, as I had gas in here, it was leaking out the bottom. So I pulled the tank out, and in order to do that, not only does the side cover for the chain have to come off, the opposing side for the recoil has to come off. So that was essentially, I think it was 3 screws, 2 up front right here. Sorry, 4 screws, 1 back here that went through the handle, and then 1 down bottom. So 4 screws held the recoil cover on, pulled that off, and then the gas tank kind of slides out of there. So had some JD weld I was using for a different part, so I just tried to cover that up on this gas here. I'm not sure if I got it well enough or not, but for now it's pretty easy to take this gas tank back out. So again, for now, I'll put it back together, put fuel in it, see if I can get it running. So I think I found the problem why it wasn't running is there's a secondary fuel line that goes from the top handle right here up to the carb. And if you see right here, well, that's part of the hose. The other part's up here. So we'll just run a new gas line from back here to up here. So it wasn't starting before, I was getting no fuel up there. And we'll go from there. Feels like it's got good compression. I wouldn't even check the spark for now, get this line done. So I know that needs to get fixed. If that doesn't start then we'll pull the spark plug and check that out. So anyway, that's what we're gonna do right now. First start by putting the fuel tank back in here, and it kind of goes at a weird angle. You have to get the neck up in there and then just kind of work it down, rotate it around, and it fits. Put the gas cap on so it doesn't slide back out. Again, this is the section of hose I replaced last time. Just goes up through that spot there. These are a 4mm socket head cap screw, which holds these front 2 together. And it's best to have one of these ball end Allen wrenches because the handle kind of gets in the way. Still a pain, but at least I can get in there and rotate it as I'm having trouble with it. Again, this is a Poulan company, Shreveport, Louisiana. There's really, besides the handle and the gas tank, there's not much plastic on this saw. So again, this is not the current day, as I said before, Poulan Pro that you may buy at Walmart, which is, I've had one of those, just a complete junk saw made in China with the Poulan name. Probably by MTD, that company that essentially buys all of the smaller companies just for their names. And people will hopefully buy that with brand recognition, thinking it's an old school Poulan, which was made in the US, like this one. But it's not, it's a low-end saw that's a throw-out saw. You know, those plastic saws, again, they're fine. I'm not putting anybody down for having one. I bought one as well back in the day. But once it breaks, they're meant to be thrown out. There's nothing about them that's worth fixing. In fact, in this chainsaw lot that I purchased, I did get one full plastic chainsaw. Go check out the video where it shows a picture of 10 chainsaws, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's the last one on the row. I don't remember the brand off the top of my head for that. But okay, so those 2 Allen wrenches, Allen keys are put in there. In the bottom, let's see about that one. Is it a? Yeah, it's this one here. It's another cap head screw, little washer. I think it's the same size. Make sure these Allen keys you clean out the, especially the bottom one here, all the schmutz that's inside there. You really want to make sure your tool is fully seated. If it's not, you can strip these out pretty easily, and then you have to go buy a replacement. Sometimes I go and rush through things and end up causing more damage because I was in a hurry than if I just taken my time and done it right. There's an old saying in my line of work, goes like this: there's never enough time to do it right the first time. So we're always rushing to meet schedule, and then it ends up taking longer because managers weren't willing to accept the realistic schedule that we put forth the first time, which probably would have been an acceptable schedule, but they didn't like that, so we had to adjust our schedules and to more unrealistic levels in order to satisfy them, and then we end up taking longer because we're trying to rush and we make mistakes. But now I'm just pulling off this crusty fuel line off the carb. Off the choke so we don't get any junk through here. Wow, that hose is just brittle, so hopefully I didn't break that. Tell you one thing, the one saw with fuel lines that I didn't have to touch because they weren't this kind of thickness or this plastic type, whatever this material is, was the Solo saw. That had like a different type of rubber fuel lines, and they still felt pliable, or pliable, I guess is the word, after a long time of use. So from this part, because it's just feeding fuel line through the handle of the chainsaw. Okay, so we're going to feed this down through this last hole here. Hopefully it goes down right. And that'll feed into this junction part that connects the short line that goes into the fuel tank with the longer line that goes up to the front. So feed the fuel line down through that groove to the side of that screw. Bring it around to where it attaches on the carburetor. This length right here. Okay, choke is on. Get some fuel in this thing. Okay, we'll try a little starter fluid. This thing to pop off. Back to the old checking spark plug. Alright, well, no go even with ether, so pull the spark plug, see if we have spark. Smells like gas. You're not gonna be able to see this, but I'll let you know if I see spark or not. Huh. No spark. Huh. Maybe that's why this saw was hung up. Has its spurs hung up. I'll grab another plug and see if we can get something. Okay, I tried with a different spark plug. Obviously not the right one for this machine, but no spark there either. Oh, I thought for sure it was a fuel problem with this saw because the fuel line was cracked. And that's why it got put up to pasture. It's a Champion 5847. The plug looks clean, but looks used. Doesn't look brand new. And I really hate fixing electrical things, honestly, on these small engines. Yeah, I don't feel anything either. Okay. Well, we'll put this cover back off and see where we go from here. Good news is no fuel's leaking. That's a step in the right direction, I guess. Okay, I think I said it on camera. If not, I really don't like working on electrical problems. It's just not my specialty. I'll check a couple things, make sure the switch is functioning properly. You know, the on-off switch right here. Beyond that, I'm not going to bother buying a new coil or anything. So what we'll do here is we'll set this to continuity. Okay. So this to the frame, we should not have continuity when we close this switch. Should. Switch is working now. Okay, so no, the switch should run it out. The switch wasn't working, just say run the OS part. Well, it's for giggles. Try keeping that switch unattached. Stick the spark plug back in here and. Okay, so this is saw 4 of 10 maybe, or 5, I forget at this point. Honestly, I think it's a no-go. No spark. Tried this spark plug, different spark plug that works in here, and there's no spark. So something in here is dead. I guess I can always price one of these out, see what it costs. But then again, does it even run the rest of it? So I'm not sure this is worth my time at all. I already done more time in it than it's worth. I tried the simple things, maybe it'll go back together and give me somebody's shelf ornament. All right, this is last ditch effort for the Poulan 2000. This coil is no good. I checked in multiple ways, checked the resistance against the primary and secondary. It's just didn't check out good before. I'm not going to check it out now as far as resistance, but I did just take this out of the oven. I cooked it, baked it about 200 to 225 degrees for about an hour and a half. So nothing crazy. I read so many different temperatures online. Okay, business card is in there. Tighten these 2 screws down. This is probably going to be sold as a package deal with the Poulan 3400, which I have a new bar and chain coming for today. But if it fires up, I can make that package just slightly higher. I'll still disclose that it probably needs a coil in the future. Again, not trying to hide anything. Did the coil do anything? Nope. No spark. Alright. Put this all back together, throw it in as a package deal. Get this off my table. And then get it off my plate. Alright, let's put this thing back together. Button it up. And that'll be it for the Poulan 2000. Poulan's got this one extra screw. It goes right here. Just to make life difficult. Or is it? Oh, back here. Still scrunchable, still flathead. Alright, well so far this is the one saw that will not pop off. But it's a fully complete saw, and like I said, I'll throw it into the package deal with the 3400. That's gonna brand that runs good. We'll see, maybe it's worth $10 to somebody as far as that package deal. Alright, that's it for this saw. There'll be nothing more posted after this little guy. Take care.